In 1931, a steel giant was abandoned in the Arctic ice. For 38 years, it sailed on without a crew.
October 1931. The Beaufort Sea, northern Alaska. A 1,300-ton steel cargo ship sits locked in pack ice off the coast of Barrow. Temperatures have plunged to -30. The sea around it has stopped moving. The ice has swallowed it whole. The crew waits. Days pass. The ice doesn't loosen. They make a decision. Abandon ship. They drag supplies across the frozen surface, build a shelter camp on the ice itself, and they wait for rescue. The ship, they believe, will be destroyed. It has no chance. Nothing survives Arctic pack ice. Then the blizzard comes. It lasts 4 days. White walls of wind. Zero visibility. The howling so constant it stops sounding like anything at all. When the storm clears, the ship is gone. Not crushed, not sunk, gone. They find it, days later, floating free, 45 miles away. Nobody sailed it there. And that was only the beginning. The Baychimo was not built for legend. It was built for work. Launched in 1914 at a shipyard in Hamburg, Germany. A Swedish vessel. Steel-hulled, 1,322 tons, 230 feet from bow to stern. After the First World War, the ship passed to British hands as part of war reparations. Eventually, it landed with the Hudson's Bay Company, one of the oldest trading companies in the world. Their territory? The Canadian and Alaskan Arctic. The Baychimo ran fur routes, muskrat pelts, Arctic fox, wolverine, sealskins, cargo loaded from remote indigenous trading posts scattered across one of the most inhospitable coastlines on Earth. It was hard, unglamorous work. The ship was good at it. By 1931, the Baychimo had made the run a dozen times. Captain John Cornwell knew the waters. He knew the risks. The Arctic autumn is not forgiving. The window between navigable water and total freeze-up is narrow. Some years, impossibly narrow. That year, it slammed shut. September 1931. The Baychimo is loaded with a full cargo of beaver and fox pelts, worth today the equivalent of several $1,000,000. Cornwell pushes to make the run south before freeze-up. He's done it before. He doesn't make it. The ice comes early, and it comes fast. By early October, the ship is locked, not partially iced in, completely encased. Off the coast of Barrow, Alaska. The water around the hull has hardened into pack ice several feet thick. The steel groans. The whole vessel shudders as the pressure mounts from every direction. The ice doesn't care what you're made of. Cornwell makes the call. 15 crew members are airlifted by a passing aircraft. The remaining crew, including Cornwell himself, dig in on the ice beside the ship. They build a wooden shelter on the frozen sea. They call it camp. For 2 weeks they wait. The temperatures drop. -20, -25. The sea ice expands outward in every direction as far as they can see. The ship sits in the middle of it, motionless. Then comes October 24th. The blizzard. It builds from the north, a full Arctic whiteout. The wind hits 70 miles per hour. The men seal themselves inside their wooden camp and listen to the world outside disappear. For 4 days, they see nothing. They hear nothing but the wind shrieking across the ice. The temperature drops to -40. When it finally stops, they dig their way out. They look toward where the ship had been. Empty ice, a dark, open channel where the hull once sat. The Baychimo was gone. Gone. Just gone. No wreckage, no debris field, no oil slick spreading through the cracked ice. In an Arctic storm of that magnitude, a ship should have been torn open, rolled, flooded, driven to the bottom. There are no survivors of ice like that. Steel doesn't beat pack ice. but there was no wreck. Cornwell's first assumption: she sank cleanly. Total loss. A bad day for the Hudson's Bay Company, a worse one for the men who'd served on her. Then the reports started coming in. A group of Inuit hunters traveling by dog sled along the frozen coastline spotted something impossible. A ship, sitting in open water, 45 miles southwest of Barrow. Not sunk. Floating. The Baychimo. Cornwell and a small team made their way to it across the ice. They climbed aboard. The hull was intact, the superstructure battered but standing. The cargo of pelts, still in the hold. Incredibly, she'd been driven through the storm, through crushing pack ice, across 45 miles of frozen sea, and survived. Cornwell salvaged what he could, removed the most valuable furs, then made a decision that still seems strange in hindsight. He left her. The ship was too damaged to be safely sailed south, he concluded. Another storm was threatening. The risk to any salvage crew was too great. The Baychimo was abandoned to the Arctic for good. That was November 1931. The Baychimo had other plans. March 1933, a year and 4 months later, Leslie Melvin, an experienced trapper working the Alaskan coast, encounters a ship adrift in the Beaufort Sea, unmanned, intact. He boards it. It's the Baychimo. After more than a year alone in the Arctic, through 2 full winters, through storms that would shred most vessels to nothing, the hull is sound. The ship is weathered, yes, scarred, but floating. No explanation. She drifts north again, back into the ice, and vanishes. November 1933. The Baychimo is spotted again. A group of Inuit hunters encounter her near the coast, locked in seasonal ice. They board her, spend 12 days living aboard the ship while they wait out a storm. Then the ice breaks. The ship moves. They barely get off in time. The Baychimo sails herself clear. And then there is 1939. A Hudson's Bay Company employee named Hugh Polson leads a team in an attempt to finally reclaim the ship. They find her. They board her. The cargo is long gone. The interior is a ruin of ice and rust and years of Arctic abuse. But she floats. They begin salvage operations. The weather changes within hours. Ice closes around the ship faster than anything Polson's team has ever seen. Wind velocity climbs. A full storm system materializes, seemingly from nowhere. The salvage operation is aborted. The team evacuates. The Baychimo drifts free once more. This pattern repeats, over and over. Every time a salvage crew gets close enough to attempt a real operation, the Arctic responds. Storms appear out of clear skies. Ice packs in from multiple directions simultaneously. Equipment fails, temperatures crash, the men leave, and the Baychimo sails on. Think about that for a moment. Not poetically, mechanically. A ship with no crew, no engine running, no ballast management, no one adjusting trim or heading, surviving decades in the most ice-heavy shipping environment on the planet. The Beaufort Sea in winter can generate pressures strong enough to bend submarine hulls. It has crushed vessels far newer and stronger than the Baychimo. But she keeps moving, season to season, year to year. Still sighted, drifting northeast of Icy Cape. Spotted again, moving southeast back toward familiar waters. 2 separate sightings, different observers, consistent descriptions. The same ship. Each time the hull described as battered, sitting lower in the water, but still afloat. Inuit communities along the Alaskan coast began to treat the Baychimo as something beyond explanation. Not supernatural, practical people don't waste time on that. Something simply beyond the expected rules. A ship the Arctic had chosen to keep. moving on currents and wind and tidal pressure in patterns that somehow kept avoiding the crushing fate that ends every other vessel that wanders into pack ice. There is no engineering explanation for this. Naval architects consulted in later decades couldn't offer one either. A steel hull, unattended, in Arctic seawater, corrodes rapidly. Rivets fail, seams open. Water ingress becomes catastrophic within years, sometimes months. No sealant, no maintenance, no bilge pumps running. And yet, a group of Alaska natives encounter the Baychimo frozen in pack ice near Icy Cape. They document the location. They note the condition. Battered, but still structurally present. She is 47 years old. She has been unmanned for 38 of them. After 1969, nothing. No sightings, no debris, no wreckage reported. The Baychimo simply stops appearing. In 2006, the Alaskan government formally investigated. State historians launched a search, pulling together every recorded sighting, every logged coordinate, every first-hand account spanning 4 decades. They mapped the drift patterns. They calculated where the ship, based on known Arctic currents, might have ended up. They found nothing. No wreck on the seafloor, no fragments on any coastline, no identifiable debris anywhere in the known sighting corridor. The official conclusion? Whereabouts unknown. Think about what that means. 1,322 tons of steel. A ship the length of 2.5 basketball courts. 38 years alone in some of the most surveilled coastline in North America, surveilled for exactly the kind of ice hazards a drifting wreck would represent. And nobody can find it. Not a trace. So where is the Baychimo? Here is what we know. The Beaufort Sea is deep. Parts of it exceed 1,500 meters. A hull that finally gave way and went down cleanly, in deep water, far from shore, in a storm, leaves almost nothing. The ice takes the debris. The currents scatter it. The cold water slows the decay, but it doesn't stop it. 60 years on the bottom is 60 years. Here is what we don't know. We don't know why she survived as long as she did. We don't know what combination of hull geometry, current patterns, and sheer mechanical luck kept a neglected steel ship moving through Arctic ice for nearly 4 decades. We have no model for it. It has not happened before. It has not happened since. The Beaufort Sea is enormous. The Arctic is vast in a way that maps don't fully communicate. There are stretches of that coastline where a ship, even a large one, could drift for years without crossing a human sightline. Most of the wrecks up there have never been found. And the waters north of Alaska are cold enough, deep enough, dark enough, that they keep what they take. Whatever is left of the Baychimo, if anything is left, is somewhere in that darkness right now. Still moving, maybe. Or finally still.
Welcome to another Mystery Minute. Can you solve this magic? Like and subscribe for more.